Well, last year it was neat because it was one of those years we got better. And I thought from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, we got exponentially better. And we were playing at our peak towards the end. And I really, truly thought we had a Final Four team. And we just sort of ran out of steam in that last game. But it was a heavily dominated senior team. We graduated 9, there's 12, or just graduated 9 starters, there's 12 seniors. And so there's a lot of challenge this year to retool and to see what we can do. A lot of those guys coming this year don't have a lot of experience, so we're going to be young. And so we expect early on we'll probably make some mistakes, but we're super excited about the potential of this team and where we think they'll go. And just having that experience, there's a lot of them. There's still a pretty heavy senior core this year, and they've had some big game experience, and you just can't pay for big game experience. It's too valuable. Yeah, it's usually the usual. We're gonna hope to start off, as best we can, and we expect to get better. And the team came in extremely fit, which we're excited about. And now we can refine it and refine more quickly than sometimes, because sometimes you're not fit, you can't do it. But we've got sort of a good core of returning players that, a couple of them have had a lot of big game experience. A lot of them have been in the NCAA tournament several times or 3 times. The freshmen coming in are really good soccer players. They're very technical, which is something we don't always have. We're usually pretty athletic, and this year I think we've added some technical ability, which should be fun. And we'll see if we can hold the ball a little bit better. And so it should be an exciting season. I'm really excited because it's truly a new team, a new start. It's sort of fun sometimes. You graduate that team last year and you mourn for a day. And then you sort of, as a coach, you love the challenge. And I love the challenge of seeing what we can do with this team and seeing if we can build another winning team. Yeah, big challenge. We lost the first team All-American, D3 player of the year, forward of the year last year. She had 29 goals, and Caitlin Mertens. And that's tough, and we're not sure. We think Allie Rudy, who's been, we think she's as good as Caitlin. But she's fragile, so we've got to see if we can keep her healthy. She's had an ACL and some shoulder injuries and different things. So if we can keep her healthy, I think she's our next All-American. She's a really terrific, fantastic soccer player. And then our midfield, we're hoping to get some goals out of the midfield this year. We have a new freshman addition that should be pretty strong, give us some strength out a little farther out than normal, which should help, and that should loosen up some things for our forwards as well. So we like our tech. I think it's going to be pretty powerful once they start clicking, and we'll see what happens. This year I think we're going to probably have the most technical central midfield we've ever had. I think we might have had better players in the past, but these guys are really technical, and what they're going to be able to do is hold the ball. And they'll be able to receive those balls from the back and then transition right into some, finding the forwards and generating some great attack from that. And that's not always typical. A lot of times we have really good athletes in that central midfield, and sometimes they're not quite as technically sharp, and these guys are technical. So when they get the ball, and we're watching practice last night, and it was just fun because they were holding the ball. And one of my players said, "I'm not getting the ball on the opposing team. She's not getting the ball because we're holding the ball well, we're possessing it." So I think that'll be a sort of a new twist for the Lynchburg soccer. Again, we're sort of known for just being super athletic, and I think if we can add a little technical twist to it, it should really bode well for us and really help in that transition. We're trying to teach our backs right now to look to our central midfield, which we haven't always done. A lot of times we like them to go wide, and we get them to our flyers out there and just let them isolate 1v1s and try to beat defenders. But now I think we can do it through the center of the park, which will be a little bit tougher to defend against us now, because in the past I think you could always shut us down by isolating players on our outside middies, and now I think we're going to be just as strong or stronger coming through the middle. Well, that's our biggest concern. We're going to have 3 new backs, and we graduated them all. And one was an All-American who was pretty phenomenal. She's actually playing at VCU right now as a 5th year, so we're really excited for her. But that's the question mark. So we think that we're going to have to score a lot of goals. So we think early on we might give up some goals, and until we sort of get that back line solid. We like who we have back there. It's just they don't have a lot of experience. And so we think early on we may make some mistakes, and that's part of the process. And as long as we trust the process and be peaking at the right time, we may just have to score more goals than we usually do in the beginning of the season to try to win some of these games. So that'll be the big concern. But we have a senior that's going to sort of hold down the middle of the park, and we've got a sophomore that came on real strong at the end of the year last year, and we really liked her in the spring, and I think she's going to be a really strong left back for us. And that right back's sort of wide open right now, and there's a couple players that are fighting for that position, so it'll be fun to see who wins it over the next couple days. I love the ODAC, and what I love about it is the longevity of some of the coaches. You think how long it's become such a good conference, and so part of that is the coaches and their long tenures. You have Phil Benny, who's been the longest tenured coach in the whole ODAC on the women's side, and Neil Cunningham at WNL, and Jeff Bowers and Mike Van Horn. So we've got really amazing, experienced coaches, and now they've all at different times have had a touch of the NCAA tournament, whether it's in a Final 8, Final 16, first couple rounds, but they've gotten there. And once you get there, it's a learning experience, and now you become stronger. And so I think it's going to be, I think the top's going to be awesome, and I think it's going to be just an absolute dogfight all year. And I also think that you're going to have Randolph-Macon who's going to be part of that. They've come, they sort of came in last year strong again, and it was fun to see them back. And so I think they're going to be fighting right at the end there. And certainly Wesleyan and all the normal teams. And Roanoke's always strong. So I think it's going to be the same teams primarily, but with Randolph-Macon in that mix now. And I think every one of those games is going to be a really, really absolute ODAC fight. And that's what you love. That makes you stronger. That gets us ready for the tournament. And I think some of our success in the tournament is always because of the amazingly great competition that we have to play in the ODAC every year. And to win that ODAC tournament is really difficult. And I would argue sometimes it's way more difficult to win that ODAC tournament than some of those NCAA games we play.